My, that kitchen's hot. What, Essie? I say that kitchen's awful hot. These new candies I'm making, it just won't ever get cool. You have to make candy today, Essie. It's such a hot day. Well, we got these new orders. And went out and got a bunch of new orders. My, if this keeps on, I suppose you'll be opening up a store. That's what Ed was saying, but I said no. I want to be a dancer. Well, the only trouble with dancing is it takes such a long time. You've been studying for so long. Only 8 years. After all, you've been writing plays for 8 years, Mother. We started about the same time, didn't we? Yes, but you shouldn't count on my first 2 years because I was learning to type. I think the candies might be enough now, Essie. Oh, thanks, Reba. I'll bring some in for you, Mother. I want you to try it. Finish the second act, Miss Sycamore? What, Reba? I said, did you finish the second act? Oh, no, Reba. I've just got Cynthia entering the monastery. She was at the Kit Kat, wasn't she? Yes, but she got tired of the Kit Kat Club, and there's this monastery, so she goes there. Do they let her in? Oh, yes, I made it Visitor's Day. Oh. Yes, so she arrives on Visitor's Day and just stays. You mean she stays all night? She stays 6 years. 6 years? Ma, I bet she busts that monastery wide open. 6 years later.
Mr. DePinwell! Yeah! Mr. DePinwell! Will you bring up one of those new skyrockets, please? I want to show them to Mrs. Sycamore. Sure! Look, Penny, what do you think of these little firecrackers we just made? We can sell them 10 strings for a cent. Listen. Nice, huh?
Oh, yes. Paul, were you ever in a monastery?
No, I wasn't. Oh, wait until you see the new rockets. Gold stars, then blue stars, and then bombs, and then a balloon. Mr. DePinwell thought of the balloon.
Oh, that's wonderful. Did you do all that today?
Oh, sure. We made up, Oh, here we are. Look, Betty. Cost us 18 cents to make, and we sell them for 50. How many do you figure we can make before the 4th of July, Mr. DePinwell? Well, we still got 2 weeks yet. What day do you want to take the stuff up to Mount Vernon? About a week. You know, we're going to need a larger booth this year. Got a lot of stuff made up. Come on, we're not through yet. But, Mr. Sycamore, I'm afraid that the powder chamber is a little bit too close to the balloon. Well, we got the stars and the bombs in between. But a balloon needs time enough. But a balloon needs plenty of time. That doesn't give a balloon time enough. Come on, let's go down to the cellar and try it.
Oh, Mr. DePenna. If a girl you loved entered a monastery, what would you do?
Oh, I don't know, Miss Sycamore. It's been so long.
Alice going to be home for dinner tonight, Miss Sycamore?
What, Reba? I don't know. Maybe.
Well, I'll set a place for her, but she's only been home one night this week.
Oh, yes, I know.
Essie's making some mighty good candy today. She's doing something new with the coconuts.
Oh, that's nice.
Let's see. 6 and Mr. DePenna, and if Mr. Kalinko comes, that makes 8, don't it? Yes, let's better set for 8.
Oh, Reba, I think I'll put this play away for a while and go back to the war play.
I always liked that one. The war play. Boom, boom.
They'll be better when they're harder, Mother, but try one. I don't know what you think. Oh, these are nice. Oh, what do you call them? I think I'll call them Love Dreams. Oh, that's lovely. I'm going back to the war play, Essie. What do you think? Oh, are you, Mother? Yes, I've sort of got myself into a monastery and I just can't get out. Oh, it'll come to you. Remember how you got out of that brothel? Oh, the snakes look hungry. Did Reba feed them? Oh, I don't know. Reba, did you feed the snakes yet?
No, not yet. Donald's come in and he always brings flies with him.
Well, make sure you feed them before Grandpa gets home. You know how fussy he is about them.
You bet. Oh, and here, take Roscoe and Harpo into the kitchen with you. Believe I'll have another love dream.
Mr. DePinto was right about the balloon. It was far too close to the powder.
Want a love dream, Father? They're on the table.
No thanks. I gotta wash.
Paul, I'm going back to the war play.
Oh, that's nice. We're putting ripe stars after the bombs and then the balloon. That ought to do it.
You know, Mr. Kalenko says I'm his most promising pupil.
You'd think with 40 months and one girl that something would happen.
Hey, Essie! Hey, Essie!
I like that, Ed. You write it.
No, Beethoven.
Oh, lovely. Got a lot of you in it. Are we going to do candies this afternoon, Ed?
Yeah?
We can take them around tonight.
All right. Now here's the finish. This is me.
That was fine, Ed. Remember when Kalinko comes, will you?
Ed, why don't you and Essie have a baby? I was thinking about it just the other day.
I don't know. We could have one if you wanted us to. How about it, Essie? Do you want to have a baby?
Oh, I don't mind. I'm willing if Grandpa is.
Let's ask him.
Labor play, religious play, sex play. I know it's in here someplace.
No, I was right about the balloon. It was much too close to the powder chamber.
Anything you want printed, Mr. DePinto? How about some more calling cards?
Oh, no thanks. I still got the first 1,000.
No, well, call on somebody, will ya?
All right.
What have we got for dinner, Reba? I'm ready to print the menu.
Let's see. Cornflakes, watermelon, some of those candies Essie made, and some kind of meat. I forget.
Huh. I think I'll set it up in bold-faced Devilham tonight. You know, if I'm going to take those new candies around, I'd better print up some descriptive matter after dinner.
Do you think anybody reads those things, Ed, that you put in the candy boxes? Oh, here's the war play. Poison gas. Oh, I guess that's Donald. Oh, look at Reba smile.
The boyfriend, eh, Reba?
Oh, they're awfully cute, Donald and Reba. Sort of like Blondie and Dagwood.
Hello, Reba!
Donald!
Evening, everybody!
Hi, Donald. How have you been?
I'm pretty good, Ed. How you been, Mrs. Sycamore?
Just fine, Donald. Donald,
Yes, ma'am.
were you ever in a monastery?
No, I don't really get out much. I'm on government relief.
Oh, yes, of course.
Here's the flies, Reba. Caught a big mess of them today.
Oh, you sure did.
I see you've been working, Mrs. Sycamore.
Yes, indeed, Donald.
How's Grandpa?
Oh, just fine. He's over at Columbia this afternoon. The commencement exercises.
My, how the years roll on by.
M-E-A-T. Say, what's he go there for all the time, Penny?
Oh, I don't know. It's just so handy. Just around the corner.
Oh, Donald. Mr. DePinto and I are going to take the fireworks up to Mount Vernon next week. Do you think you could give us a hand?
Sure thing. Only, I can't take any money for it this year. If the government finds out I'm working, they'll get sore.
Oh. Hey, I had a wonderful idea in the bathroom just now. I was reading Trotsky. Yours, isn't it?
Yeah, I left it there.
Who is it?
You know Trotsky, the Russian Revolution.
Oh.
Anyhow, it struck me it was a great fireworks idea. Remember the last days of Pompeii?
Oh, yes. The Palisades Park. That's where we met.
Well, I'm going to do the revolution, a full-hour display.
Say.
Oh, that's wonderful.
The red fire is the flag, huh?
Sure, the Tsar, the Cossacks.
And the parting of the Red Sea?
Oh, no, Donald. The Russian Revolution. Hello, Grandpa.
Well, sir, you should have been there. That's all I can say. You should have been there.
Was it a nice commencement, Grandpa?
Oh, wonderful. They get better every year.
Big class this year, Grandpa? How many were there?
Oh, must have been 2 acres. Everybody graduated. Yes, sir. Much funnier speeches than last year, too.
You want to hear some funny speeches? You listen to one of FDR's fireside chats.
I'm sure they'll have him in Columbia, too, one day.
Donald, will you tell Reba that Grandpa's home now and we won't wait for Alice?
Sure thing. Reba! Grandpa's home! We can have dinner!
We made a new rocket today, Grandpa. Wait till you see it. Oh, evening, Grandpa.
Evening, Mr. DePinna.
Didn't we make a fine rocket today, Mr. DePinna? We certainly did. Wonder why they don't have fireworks at commencement.
Don't make enough noise. You take a good commencement orator, and he'll drown out a whole cartload of fireworks. Say just as much, too.
Don't the graduates ever say anything?
Oh, no. They just sit there in their cap and nightgowns and get their diplomas, and along about 40 years from now, they suddenly say, "Where am I?"
Oh, hello, Grandpa. Have a nice day.
Hello, have a nice day. Hope I even get kissed.
Excuse me, Grandpa.
I'll take a tomato, too. You know, I could have used a couple of these this afternoon.
Father?
Oh, no thanks.
Mother? No thanks, dear.
And play something.
There was a letter came to you, Grandpa. Did you get it?
A letter for me? I don't know anybody.
It was for you, though. It had your name on it.
That's funny. Where is it?
I don't know. Where's Grandpa's letter, Mother? What, Essie? Where's that letter came for Grandpa last week? I don't know. I remember seeing fish on it.
Well, who is it from? Did you notice?
Yes, it was on the outside.
Oh, well, who was it?
United States government.
Really? Wonder what they wanted.
And there was one before that, too, from the same people. There was a couple of them.
Well, if there are any more, I wish you'd give them to me.
Yes, Grandpa.
Well, I think I'm off to Westchester tomorrow. Going to do a little snake hunting.
God is the state. The state is God.
What's that?
God is the state. The state is God.
Who says that?
Trotsky.
Oh, well, that's all right. I thought you said it.
It's nice for printing, you know? Good and short. G O D space I S space C H E space.
And so the beautiful princess came into the palace and kissed her mother, mwah, and her father, mwah, and her grandfather, mwah.
Hello, darling.
Hi, Grandpa. And what do you think? They turned into the Sycamore family. Surprise. Oh, Alice, I like it. Do you? It's new, isn't it? Oh, that's nice and summery. Where'd you get it? I took a walk during the lunch hour.
You've been taking a lot of walks lately. That's the second new dress this week.
I just like to brighten up the office once in a while. I'm known as the K. Francis of Kirby & Co.
do around here in the way of plays, snakes, ballet dancing, or fireworks? Dad, I'll bet you've been down in that cellar all day.
Huh?
Going back to the war play, Alice.
Really, Mother?
And play Alice that Beethoven thing you wrote.
You know, you can mail a letter all the way from Nicaragua for 2 pesetas now.
Really?
Clement's hyperactivity is a priceless thing to me.
Listen, people, listen. I'm not home to dinner tonight. A young gentleman is calling for me.
Really? Who is it? Isn't that nice?
I've done everything to keep him from coming here, but he's calling for me.
Why don't you both stay for dinner?
No, I want him to take you in easy doses. I've tried to prepare him a little, but don't make it any worse than you can help. Don't read him any plays, Mother, and don't let a snake bite him, Grandpa, because I like him. And I wouldn't dance for him, Essie, because we're going to the Monte Carlo Ballet tonight.
Can't do anything. Oh, who is he? President of the United States?
No, he's the Vice President of Kirby & Co., Mr. Anthony Kirby, Jr.
The boss's son?
Well, the boss's son, just like the movies. That explains the new dresses.
And not being home to dinner for 3 weeks.
Why, Sherlock Holmes?
Are you going to marry him?
Why, of course, tonight. Meanwhile, I have to go upstairs and put on my wedding dress.
Is he good looking?
Yes, in a word. Oh dear, what time is it?
Oh, I don't know. Does anyone know what time it is?
Oh, Mr. Defender might know.
It was 5 o'clock a couple of hours ago.
Oh, I ought to know better than to ask you people. Will you let me know the minute he comes?
Of course, Alice.
Yes, I know, but I mean the minute he comes?
Of course, dear.
Well, be sure.
Well, what do you think of that?
She certainly seems to like him, if you ask me.
I should say so. She's got it bad.
Wouldn't it be wonderful if they got married? We could have the wedding right in this room.
Remember, Penny, this is the first time he's ever called for the girl.
Now, you only called for me once.
Young people are different nowadays.
Oh, I don't know. Look at Ed and I. He came to dinner once and just stayed, you see. Anyhow, I think it's wonderful, don't you, Grandpa?
She certainly seems happy.
Oh, he must be crazy about her. Maybe he's the one who's been taking her out every night. Oh, that must be him. Never mind, Reba, I'll answer it. Now, remember what Alice said and be very nice to him.
All right, well, let's get a look at it.
Oh, welcome to our little home.
How do you do?
Oh, I'm Penny, and that's Mr. Sycamore, and Grandpa, and Essie's husband, Ed Carmichael. Do come in. Give me your coat and make yourself right at home.
I'm afraid you must be making a mistake.
How's that?
My card.
Wilma C. Henderson, Internal Revenue Department.
That's right.
Well, what can we do for you?
Does a Mr. Martin Vanderhoff live here?
Oh, yes, ma'am. That's me.
Well, Mr. Vanderhoff, the government would like to talk to you about a little matter of income tax.
Income tax?
You mind if I sit down?
No, no. Go right ahead.
Mother, is that Mr. Kirby? No, dear. It's an internal something or other.
Mr. Sycamore, this thing isn't going off! What is it? Look, it's not working. Not here, Mr. DePinto. Grandpa's busy. Excuse me. Pardon me.
Over here.
No, Mr. Vanderhoff. We've written you several letters about this, but I've not had any reply.
Oh, that's what those letters were.
I told you they were from the government.
According to our records, Mr. Vanderhoff, you have never paid an income tax.
That's right.
Why not?
I don't believe in it.
Well, you own property, don't you?
Yes, ma'am.
And you receive a yearly income from it
I do.
of between $3,000 and $4,000.
Yes, about that.
You've been receiving it for years.
Oh, I have. 1901, if you want the exact date.
Well, the government is only concerned from 1914 on. That's when the income tax started.
Well,
Well, it seems, Mr. Vanderhoff, that you owe the government 24 years back income tax.
Whoa, you can't go back that far. That's outlawed.
What's your name?
What difference does that make?
Ever filing an income tax return?
No, ma'am.
Ah, what was your income last year?
$28.50, wasn't it, Essie?
Yes, ma'am.
Pardon me. Now, Mr. Vanderhoff, you know there's quite a penalty for not filing an income tax return.
Penalty?
now let me ask you something, Miss Henderson.
Well,
Oh, well, suppose I pay you this money. Mind you, I don't say I'm going to. But just for the sake of argument. Now, what's the government give me?
how do you mean?
Oh, well, if I go into Macy's and I buy something, there it is. I see it. Now, what's the government give me?
Why, the government gives you everything. It protects you.
What from?
Well, invasion. Foreigners that might come in here and try and take everything you've got.
Oh, I don't think they're going to do that.
If we didn't have income tax, they would. How do you think the government keeps up the army and the navy? All those battleships.
The last time we used battleships was in the Spanish-American War. And what did we get out of that? Cuba. And we gave that right back. I wouldn't mind paying if it were something sensible.
Sensible? Well, what about Congress and the Supreme Courts and the President? We've got to pay them, don't we?
Not with my money, no.
Now, wait a minute. I'm not here to argue with you. All I know is that you haven't paid an income tax and you've got to pay it.
Well, they've got to show me.
We don't have to show you. I just told you. All those buildings down in Washington and interstate commerce and the Constitution.
The Constitution was paid for long ago. And interstate commerce... well, what is interstate commerce anyway?
We've got 48 states, see? And if we didn't have interstate commerce, nothing could go from one state to another, see?
Why not? They got fences?
No, they haven't got fences, they've got laws! My God, I've never come across anything like this before.
Well, I might pay $75, but that's all it's worth.
You'll pay every cent of it like everybody else.
Oh, listen, Essie, listen to this a minute.
And let me tell you something else. You'll go to jail if you don't pay. Do you hear that? That's the law. And if you think you're better than the law, you've got another thing coming. You're no better than anybody else. And the sooner you get that through your head, the better. You'll hear from the United States government. That's all I can say.
Watch out for those snakes.
Jesus!
How's that?
Hi, Ned.
How did that sound to you folks?
Oh, I liked it,
My goodness, she was mad, wasn't she?
but it's not her fault. It's just that the whole thing was so silly.
She took off her jacket.
Oh, say, what size is that?
A 48.
Oh, just right for me.
Say, who was that lady anyway?
That must really be him.
Better make sure this time.
I will. How do you do?
Good evening.
Are you really Mr. Anthony Kirby Jr.?
Yes.
Oh, do come in. Everyone, this is really Mr. Kirby. We've been expecting you. Oh, come in. I'm Alice's mother, and that's Alice's father and her grandfather, and her sister Essie and Essie's husband, Ed Carmichael.
Oh, do make yourself right at home and give me your hat.
Thank you.
Is that Mr. Kirby, Mother?
Oh, yes it is, dear. He is lovely.
I'll be right
Do have a seat.
Thank you. Hope I'm not keeping you from dinner.
Oh, no. Have a tomato?
No, thank you.
Oh, what about a piece of candy?
No thanks.
Oh, I forgot to introduce Mr. DePenna. Mr. Kirby, this is Mr. DePenna.
How do you do? Say, wasn't I just reading something about your father in the paper the other day? Didn't he get indicted or something?
Hardly that. He just testified before the Securities Commission.
Oh, I see.
Yes, and I'm sure there was nothing crooked about it. Right, Mr. DePenna? As a matter of fact, Alice has told us what a lovely man your father is.
Well, I know Father couldn't get along with that, Alice. She knows the business better than any of us.
You're awfully young, aren't you, Mr. Kirby? To be vice president of a big business like that?
Well, you know what that means, Vice President. All I have is a desk with my name on it.
Oh, is that all? Don't you get any salary?
Well, a little. More than I'm worth, I'm afraid.
Well, now, you're just bluffing.
Sounds kind of dull to me, Wall Street. How do you like it?
Well, the hours are short, and I haven't been there very long.
Oh, just out of college.
Well, I knocked around for a while at first. I was just sort of have fun.
Oh, what did you do? Travel?
For a while, then I went to Cambridge for a year.
England.
That's right.
Well, say, what's an English commencement like?
Very
Did you see
impressive.
any?
They're very impressive, sir.
Oh, they are.
Anyhow, now the fun's over and I'm facing the world.
Well, you've certainly got a good start. Vice President and a rich father.
Well, that's hardly my fault.
Oh. So, now I suppose you're all ready to settle down and get married.
Come now, Betty. I'm sure Mr. Kirby knows his own mind.
Oh no, Paul, I wasn't making up his mind for him, was I, Mr. Kirby?
That's quite all right, Miss Sycamore.
You mustn't rush him, Mother.
Anyhow, all I meant was he's bound to get married. Suppose the wrong girl gets him.
Oh, well, here I am. What is the clue? Apparently, we've all had time to get acquainted.
Oh, yes, we were just having a lovely discussion about love and marriage.
Oh, dear. I'm so sorry. I came down as fast as I could.
I didn't mind in the least.
Damn, there's flies in the kitchen! Oh, Alice, you look beautiful. Where are you going?
I'm going out, Reba.
Steppin', huh?
That must be Mr. Kalinkov. I think we'd better go, Tony.
Grandpa, do you take cream on your cornflakes? I forget.
Half and half, Donald.
Oh, my little rapista!
Yes, that's Kalinkov, all right.
Well, hello, Mr. Kalinkov.
Good evening, everybody! Grandpa, what do you think? I have had a letter from Russia. The second 5-year plan is a failure. Oh.
I practiced today, Mr. Kalinkov.
My Pavlova,
Will you excuse us, Mr. Kalinkov?
my little Alice. Never have I seen you look so magnificent.
Thank you, Mr. Kalinkov. Tony, this is Mr. Kalinkov, Essie's dancing teacher. Mr. Kirby.
How do you do?
How do you do?
Will you excuse us, Mr. Kalinkov? We're going to the Monte Carlo Ballet.
The Monte Carlo Ballet. It stinks.
Yes. Well, goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Goodbye. So glad to make you.
Monte Carlo Ballet. Oh,
Isn't Mr. Kirby lovely? Oh, come on, everyone. Dinner's ready.
I thought he was a nice fellow, didn't you?
And so good looking. Oh, and his manners. Didn't you notice his manners, Paul?
I did. You were getting pretty personal with it.
Oh, no, Paul. Anyhow, he's a very nice young man.
Yeah, he reminds me of a cousin of mine. Bosh, directly! Then you had the ballet.
I think if they get married here, I'll put the altar right where the snakes are. You wouldn't mind, would you, Grandpa?
Not if the snakes don't.
Oh no, they'll want to get married in a church.
You know what?
His family and everything.
Of course!
Of course.
It's a very traditional family say.
Quiet, everyone. Well, sir, we've been getting along pretty good for a while now, and we're much obliged. Remember, all we ask is that we just go along and be happy in our own sort of way. Now, of course, we'd like to keep our health, but as far as anything else is concerned, we'll leave it up to you. Thank you. So, the second 5 letters are made, all right, ladies.
That doesn't look as you wait until they rise in word,
I imagine they will at some point.
I'm thinking C minor.
I could see them dance every night of the week. I think they're marvelous.
They are, aren't they? Of course, just being inside any theater gives me a thrill.
Now, Tony, it's been so lovely. I hate to have it over.
Oh. Is it over? Do I have to go right away?
Not if you don't want to.
I don't.
Would you like a cold drink?
Wonderful.
I'll see what's in the icebox. Want to come along?
I'd follow you to the ends of the earth.
Oh, just the kitchen is enough.
Why, I like it. You've done it very simply, haven't
Yes, we didn't know whether to do it Empire or Neo-Grecian.
you? So you settled for frigid air.
Yes, it's so easy to live with. Lucky you're not hungry, Mr. K. An icebox full of cornflakes. That gives you a rough idea of the sycamores.
They make these bottle openers for gnomes? I never did. All over my coat.
I'll take mine in a glass, if you don't mind.
There you are. A foaming beaker.
Anyhow, it's cold.
Now, if you'll please be seated, I'd like to offer a toast.
We are seated.
Miss Sycamore, to you.
Thank you, Mr. Kirby. To you.
You know something?
What?
I wouldn't trade 1 minute of this evening for all the rice in China.
Really?
Cross my heart.
Is there much rice in China?
Terrific. Didn't you read The Good Earth? I suppose I ought to go.
Is it very late?
Very. I don't want to go.
I don't want you
All right, I won't. Say, when do you get to go on your vacation?
to. Last 2 weeks in August.
What are you going to do?
I haven't thought much about it.
Going away, do you think?
I might not. I like the city in the summertime.
I do too.
But you always go up to Maine, don't you?
That's right. But I'm sure I would love the city in the summertime if... Well, Alice, you know what I mean. I'd love if you were here.
Well, it'd be nice if you were here, Tony.
You know what you're saying, don't you?
What?
That you'd rather spend the summer with me than anybody else.
Was I?
Well, if it's true about the summer, how would you feel about the winter?
Yes. I'd like that too.
And then there's spring and autumn. If you could see your way clear about those, Miss Sycamore.
I might.
I guess that's the whole year. We haven't forgotten anything, have we?
No.
Well then.
Alice! Oh, what time is it? Oh! Well, least I didn't mean to interrupt anything.
Not at all, Miss Sycamore.
No, Mother.
Well, I just came down for my manuscripts, and then you two can go right ahead. Here it is. Sex takes a holiday. Good night, Tony.
Good night, Miss Sycamore.
Oh, now you can call me Penny. Don't you think, Alice? At least I hope so.
What's that?
All right, Tony. That's Father.
Huh. This time of night?
Any time of night, any time of day.
You know something? You're more beautiful, more lovely, more adorable than anyone else in the world.
Don't, Tony.
What? My dear, just because you're mother? All mothers are like that, Alice. And Penny's a darling. See, I'm even calling her Penny.
It's not that, Tony. Look, this is something I should have said a long time ago, but I didn't have the courage. I let myself be swept away because I loved you so.
Darling.
No, wait, Tony. I want to make it clear to you. You're of a different world. A whole different kind of people. Oh, I don't mean money or socially. That's too silly, but your family and mine, it just wouldn't work, Tony. It just wouldn't work.
All right, have it your way. She can't dance. That's why they pay her all that money, because she can't dance.
Well, I don't call that dancing what she does. Oh, hello. How was the ballet?
It was fine, Essie.
Wonderful.
Hello there.
Hello.
Look, what do you people think? Ed and I just saw Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. Do you think she can dance, Mr. Kirby?
Why, I always thought so.
What does she do, anyhow? Now, look, you're Fred Astaire and I'm Ginger Rogers.
Essie, please.
I'm only using him for a moment. Now, look, Mr. Kirby.
Essie, you're just as good as Ginger Rogers. We all agree.
You see, Ed,
Yeah. Hey, come on, Essie. We're butting in here.
they've been together all night. Well, good night, Mr. Kirby. Good night, Alice.
Good night, Miss Carmichael.
Good night. Hey, Essie. Did you ask Grandpa about us having a baby?
Yes. He says go right ahead.
You see, Tony? That's what it would be like.
I didn't mind that. Anyhow, we're not going to be living with your family. It'll just be you and I.
No, it isn't, Tony. It's never quite that. I love them, Tony. I love them deeply. Some people could break away, but I couldn't. I know they do rather strange things, but they're gay and they're fun, and I don't know, there's a kind of nobility about them.
Alice, you talk as though only you can understand me. That's not true. Why, every family's got curious little traits. What of it? My father raises orchids at $10,000 a ball. Is that sensible? My mother believes in spiritualism. That's just as bad as your mother ain't plays, isn't it?
It goes deeper, Tony. Your mother believes in spiritualism because it's fashionable, and your father raises orchids because he can afford to. My mother writes plays because 8 years ago a typewriter was delivered here by mistake.
Darling, what of it?
And look at Grandpa. 35 years ago, he just quit the business one day. He went upstairs to his office in the elevator and came right back down again. He could have been a rich man, but he said it took too much time. So for 35 years, he's collected snakes and gone to circuses and commencements. It never occurs to any of them.
Hello there.
Hello, Grandpa.
Good evening, Mr. Vanderhoff.
How's the weather? Looks like a nice summer evening.
It's lovely, Grandpa.
Well, I'm off. Goodbye, Mr. Kirby. I've got a date with the policeman on the corner.
A policeman.
Oh, yes, a standing date. 12:30 every night. I've known him since he was a little boy. Oh, he's really a doctor, but after he graduated, he came to me and said he didn't want to be a doctor. He always wanted to be a policeman. So I told him, you go ahead and be a policeman if that's what you want. And that's what he did. How do you like my new jacket?
It's very nice, Mr. Randolph.
Yeah, I like it. The government gave it to me.
Oh, I didn't know you folks were in here.
It's all right, Donald.
Reba kind of fancies some candy and... Oh, here it is. You folks want any?
No thanks, Donald.
Thanks. Hey, did you have a nice dinner?
Yes, Donald.
Nice evening?
Yes, Donald.
Was the ballet nice?
Yes, Donald.
That's nice.
Now do you see what I mean? Could you explain Donald to your father? Could you explain Grandpa? You couldn't, Tony, you couldn't. I love you, Tony, but I love them too.
And it's no use, Tony. It's no use.
There's only one thing you said that matters. It makes any sense at all. You love me.
But Tony, I know so well.
But darling, don't you think other people have had the same problem? Everybody's got a family.
But not like mine.
I can't stop people who love each other. Darling, won't you love me and trust me and forget everything else?
Tony, how can I?
Because nothing can keep us apart. You know that. You must know. They want you to be happy, don't they? They must.
Of course they do, Tony, but they can't change. I wouldn't want them to change.
You won't have to change. They're charming and lovable people just as they are. Everything will work out. You're worrying about something that may never come up.
Tony, you know?
All that matters right now is how we love each other. That's so, isn't it?
Yes.
Well then.
Oh, Tony.
Now, I'd like to see a little gaiety around here. Young gentlemen calling and getting engaged and everything.
What do I say?
Well, first you thank the young gentleman for getting engaged to you.
Thank you, Mr. Kirby, for getting engaged to me.
And then you tell him what it was about him that first took your girlish heart.
The back of your head.
Huh?
It wasn't your charm, and it wasn't your money. It was the back of your head. I just liked it.
Well, what happened when I turned around?
Oh, I got used to it after a while.
Ha ha. Oh well, let's think of it. We're pretty lucky, aren't we?
I know that I am. I'm the luckiest girl in the world.
I'm not exactly unlucky myself. Suppose I gotta go. Good night, darling. Till tomorrow.
Good night.
Isn't it wonderful we work in the same office? Otherwise, I'd be hanging around here all day.
Won't it be funny in the office tomorrow? Seeing each other and going on as though nothing had happened?
Thank God I'm vice president. I can dictate to you all day long. Dear Miss Sycamore, I love you. I love you. I love you.
Darling, you're such a fool.
Why don't you meet me in the drugstore in the morning before you go up to the office? I'll have a million things to say to you.
All right.
And then lunch. And dinner tomorrow night.
Tony, what will people say?
It's gotta come out sometime. In fact, if you know a good house spot, I'd like to do a little shower.
Yes, sir, Mr. DePena. You did a good night's work. That's right. 500 Black Panthers, 300 willow trees, and 8 dozen junior kitty bombers. Pretty good. Oh, why, hello, Alice. You just come in.
No. I've been home quite a while.
Have a nice evening.
I had a wonderful evening, Father.
Say, I'd like you to take a look at this new red fire. Mr. DePena, will you turn out the lights? I'd like Alice to get the full effect.
What, Father?
Come, take a look at this new red fire. It's beautiful.
Yes. Oh, Father, everything's beautiful. It's the most beautiful red fire in the world.
enter a stage door, the bottle gets put away. Until intermission.
Have you been on the stage a long time, Miss Wellington?
All my life I've played everything. Ever see Peg o' My Heart?
Oh, yes.
I saw it too. Good show. My hot night, ain't it?
Would you like me to open a window, Miss Wellington?
No, the hell with the weather. Say, he's cute.
Oh! She's just acting, Reba! She doesn't mean anything. She's just acting.
Oh, well, whenever you're ready, Miss Wellington, go up in my room and start. I thought I'd read a new play up in my room. Just a minute, dear. I'm ready. When I see snakes, it's time to lay down. Oh, dear. Oh, but Miss Wellington, those snakes, they're real. Miss Wellington.
Oh, she's out like a light.
Better let her sleep it off.
Reba! Miss Wellington just passed out!
Do you think she'll be all right?
Yes, but I wouldn't cast her in the religious play.
Well, I suppose we'll just have to wait.
Next time you meet an actress on top of a bus, Penny, maybe I'd send her the play instead of bringing her here to read it.
Oh, are you going to stop printing and take those love dreams around? You've got to get back in time to play for me when Kalinkov comes.
Oh, Kalinkov coming tonight?
Oh, yes. Tomorrow night's his night, but I had to change it on account of Alice.
Oh, big doings around here tomorrow night.
Oh, yes. Isn't it exciting? No, I'm so nervous. You'd think it was me getting married to Mr. Kirby instead of Alice. I wonder what they'll be like. His mother and father, I mean. Ed, what are you doing now?
Hey, Penny! Did you see the new mask I made last night? Guess who it is?
Don't tell me now, Ed. Helen of Troy.
Oh, it's Mrs. Roosevelt.
No, the nice thing about these Meccano sets is that you can build so many different things with them. Last week it was the Empire State Building.
What is it this week?
Queen Mary.
Oh, hasn't got the right hat on.
Oh, hey, look, Mr. DePinna, would you go outside and see if there's a man standing in front of the house?
Why? What for?
Well, the last 2 days, when I've been out delivering candy, I think a man's been following me.
Ed, you're crazy.
Oh, no, I'm not. He stands there and watches the house.
Really? I'll go take a look.
I don't see what anyone would want to follow you for, Ed.
Well, there is a lot of kidnapping going around, Grandpa.
Yes, but not of Ed.
Well, did you see him?
There's nobody out there at all.
You're sure?
Positive. I just saw him walking away.
You see?
Oh, it could have been anyone just walking along the street. Oh, will you hurry up and get back?
All right.
What do you say we go down and finish packing up those fireworks, Miss Sycamore? Mr. Sycamore, good night, Miss Sycamore. Yeah, got to take the stuff up to Mount Vernon in the morning, all right?
Mother, can I borrow some paper? I'm making out a list for Reba for tomorrow night.
Of course, dear. You're so.
Why, what's happened to your actress friend? Is she giving a performance?
Oh, no, dear. She's really drunk.
Essie, dear, you're going to give Reba the kitchen all day tomorrow, aren't you? Because she'll need it.
Oh, of course, Alice. We'll start some love dreams now, so I'll be way ahead.
Thanks, dear. Look, Mother, I'm coming home at 3 o'clock tomorrow. Will you have everything down in the cellar by that time? The typewriter and the snakes and the xylophone and the printing press?
Oh, and Miss Wellington?
And Miss Wellington. That'll give me time to arrange the table and fix the flowers.
The Kirbys are certainly going to get the wrong impression of this house.
You'll do all that, won't you, Mother?
Of course, dear.
And I think we ought to have cocktails ready by 7:15 in case they happen to arrive a little bit early. I wonder if I ought to let Reba cook the dinner. What do you think, Grandpa?
From what I've seen of this boy, I'm sure his family is very nice. And if everything isn't so elaborate tomorrow, well, that's all right too.
Darling, I'm not trying to impress them or pretend we're anything that we aren't. I just want everything to go off well, that's all.
No reason why it shouldn't.
Of course, dear. We're going to do everything we can to make it a nice party.
Oh, my darlings, I love you. You're the most wonderful family in the world. And I'm the happiest girl in the world. I didn't know anyone could be so happy. Why, this past week has been like floating. He's so wonderful, Grandpa. Why, just seeing him, you don't know what it does to me.
Just seeing him. But you're seeing him for lunch and dinner and until 4 o'clock in the morning. And 9 o'clock the next morning, you're back at the office and there he is. Just seeing him, huh?
I don't care. I'm in love. Reba! Reba!
Nice, isn't it? To see her so happy.
Oh, yes. I remember when I was first engaged to Paul, how happy I was. And you know, I still feel that way.
I know. Nice the way Ed and Essie get along too.
Oh, yes. And Donald and Reba, even though they're not yet married. Do you believe Mr. DePenna will ever marry anyone?
Well, there's Miss Wellington.
Oh, I do hope she wakes up. We're going to read that play tonight.
Miss Sycamore, look what I found! Remember?
Oh, yes. It's my painting of you as a discus thrower. Oh, look, Grandpa.
Oh, yes, I remember. Say, you've gotten a little bald, haven't you, Mr. DePenna?
Is it really that noticeable? There's still some right here.
Oh, well, it was a long time ago, just before I stopped painting. Let's see, that's 8 years.
Too bad you never finished it, Miss Sycamore.
Well, I always intended to, but one day I just started to write a play, and that was that. Never painted again.
Just as well, too. I was going to have to strip next.
My goodness. Who would have thought that day that I came to deliver the ice that I was going to stay here for 8 years?
Oh, the milkman ahead of you was here for 5.
Why did he leave anyhow?
Oh, he didn't leave. He died.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, he really was such a lovely man. Do you remember the funeral, Grandpa? We never knew his name, so it was hard to get a certificate.
What was the name? We came up for him eventually.
Martin Vanderhoff. We gave him your name.
Oh, yes. I remember.
Yes, it really was a lovely idea. Otherwise, he wouldn't have gotten all those flowers.
Yes. It didn't hurt me any. Haven't got mail since then. And haven't got a phone call from that day to this.
Oh, yes, it really was a wonderful idea.
You know, Miss Sycamore, I really wish you'd finish that sometime. I'd kind of like to have it.
You know what, Mr. DePenna? I think I'll do some work on it right tonight.
Say, will you?
Oh, yes. Now, do you go down in the cellar and bring up your costume and grab the easel? Is it still down there?
I think so.
Where did I put my palatine brushes?
Repiska, my little Repiska!
Why, hello, Mr. Galinkov.
Oh, hello, Mr. Glenkov. Essie's in the kitchen.
Madam Sycamore, I greet you. Tell me, Grandpa, what should I do about Repiska? I keep telling her she would make a great old answer. But she laughs only.
No, sir, I couldn't do that. Mr. Galinkov, I got hypnotised.
Repiska, you could wear diamonds. A great girl, Grandpa. What is that?
Oh, that's a picture of Mr. DePenna. Penny painted it.
It stinks.
I know. What do you think of that?
What is that?
Oh, Oh, that's an actress. The friend of Penny's.
She is drunk, no?
Oh, she is drunk, yes. How are you, Klinkov?
Magnificent! Life is chasing around inside of me like a squirrel.
Tis, huh? Any news from Russia? Have you heard from your friend in Moscow?
I have just heard from him. I saved for you this thing.
Oh, thanks, Klinkov.
They have sent him to Siberia.
Oh, they have, huh? How's he like it there?
He has escaped. He has escaped and gone back to Moscow. He shall get them yet if they do not get him. The Soviet government. I will take the whole Soviet government and
Oh, I'm sorry I'm late, Mr. Klinkov. I'll get into my dancing clothes right away.
Tonight we'll really work Pavlova. Tonight we will take something new.
Is he making any progress, Klinkov?
Confidentially, she stinks!
Well, as long as she's having fun.
You sure do tickle Reba, Mr. Klinkov. She's laughing her head off out there.
She is a great woman. Donald, what do you think of the Soviet government?
The what, Mr. Klinkov?
I withdraw the question. What do you think of this government?
Oh, I like it just fine. I'm on relief, you know.
Oh yes, and you like it?
Well, sure. The only thing is you have to go to the place every week to collect the money, and they make you stand in this line pretty near half an hour. Government ought to be run better than that, don't you think, Grandpa?
The government ought to stop sending me letters. They want me to be at the marshal's office, 10 o'clock Tuesday. Look at this.
Oh, income tax! They have got you, Grandpa.
They want me to give them a lot of money as to keep Donald on relief.
You don't say, Grandpa. You going to pay it from now on?
Oh, that's what they want.
You mean I can come right here to get it instead of standing in that line?
No, Donald. I'm afraid you're going to have to waste half an hour of your time every week.
Well, I don't like it. It really breaks up my week.
He should have been in Russia when the revolution came. Then he would have stood in line, a bread line. Ah, Grandpa, what have they done to Russia? Think of it. The Grand Duchess Olga Katrina, a cousin of the Tsar. She is a waitress in Child's restaurant. I ordered baked beans from her only yesterday. It broke my heart. A crazy world, Grandpa.
No, the world's not so crazy, Klinkov. No, it's the people in it. Life's pretty simple if you just relax.
How can you relax in times like these?
Well, there wouldn't be times like these if everyone would relax. Oh, that's just what I'm saying. Life is kind of beautiful if you just let it come to you. Oh, but people forget that. I know I did. I was right in the thick of it, fighting and scratching and clawing. Regular jungle. Then one day, it struck me. I wasn't having any fun.
So you did what?
No, just relaxed. That was 35 years ago. And I've been a happy man ever since.
Good evening, Mr. Klinkov.
Ah, Alice, I have not seen you to present my congratulations.
Thank you.
May you be very happy and have many children. That is my prayer for you.
That's quite a thought.
Ah, love. Love is all that is left in the world, Grandpa.
Oh, yes, but there is a lot of that.
And soon Stalin will take that away too. I tell you, Grandpa.
Oh, so nice getting back into my art things again. They still look all right, don't they, Grandpa?
Oh, yes, indeed.
You are a breath of Paris, Madame Sycamore.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Klinkov. I
didn't know you were working for the WPA.
Oh, no, Donald. You see, I was sitting
It happened again! There was a fellow following me every place I went.
Oh, nonsense, Ed. It's all in your imagination.
Oh, no, it isn't. It happens every time I go out to deliver candy.
Well, maybe he wants a piece of candy.
It's all right for you to laugh, Grandpa, but he keeps following me.
You do not know what following is. In Russia, everybody is followed. I was followed right out of Russia.
You see, it's all in your imagination.
Well, maybe.
What do you want this, Miss Sycamore?
Just right there, Mr. Penna.
And for tonight's lesson, we use the first movement of Scheherazade.
Okay.
Oh, Mr. DePenna, has something happened to your figure in these past 8 years?
No, I don't think anything's happened.
Yes, Miss Wellington? Yes? Woo! Sorry I'm late, Mr. Kalinko. I couldn't find my slippers.
We have a hard life for it, my Pavlova, but art is only achieved through perspiration.
Oh, that's wonderful, Mr. Kalinko. You hear that, Grandpa? Art is only achieved through perspiration.
Yes, but it helps if you have a little talent to go with it. And we made 2 bullseyes last night. Must be better than that.
You are ready? We begin. Now, Curé, come, you can do that. It takes years now. At last, Andresha. No, Grandpa, you cannot relax with Stalin in Russia. The Tsar relaxed, and what happened to him?
Well, he was too late.
Mr. Kalinko! Mr. Kalinko!
If he had not relaxed, the Grand Duchess Olga Katrina would not be selling baked beans today.
Mr. Kalinko!
I'm sorry. We go back to the puree.
Mr. DePenna, could you tuck in your stomach a little bit? Yes, that's right.
A little freer with the hands. The whole body must work. Ed, help us with the music. The music must be free too.
Miss Sycamore! Miss Sycamore! What, Reba?
Good evening.
How do you do?
How do you do? Are we too early?
No, come right in. We're glad to see you.
Oh, yes. Only we thought it was to be tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night?
What?
No. Come on in. Make yourselves at home.
Tony, how could you have possibly?
I thought,
Really, Tony, this is most embarrassing.
Now, don't worry about that. Why, we weren't doing a thing.
Oh, no. Just a quiet evening at home.
Now, don't let it bother you. This is Alice's mother, Mrs. Sycamore.
How do you do?
Alice's sister, Mrs. Carmichael. Mr. Carmichael. Mr. Kalinkoff. And Mr. DePinna.
How do you do? Don't mind my costume, I'll take it right off.
Mr. DePinna, would you go get Mr. Sycamore? Tell him that Mr. and Mrs. Kirby are here?
Yes.
Oh, and be sure to put his pants on.
Right.
excuse me.
Thank you.
Oh, and I'll tell Alice that you're... Alice here.
What is it?
Alice,
Kirby, may I take your wrap?
Well, thank you, of course, if you're sure that we're not. Oh my, what is that?
Oh, don't worry about them, Mrs. Kirby. They're perfectly harmless.
Thank you.
And go ahead and take them to the kitchen.
Oh, of course, we're just so used to having them around the house.
Well, I'm terribly sorry to bother you. It's just that snakes happen to be around.
I feel very uncomfortable about this. Tony, how could you have done such a thing?
I'm sorry, Dad. I thought it was tonight.
It was very careless of you. Very.
Oh, now, Mr. Kirby, of course anyone can get that sort of thing mixed up.
How about some dinner for these folks, Penny? Well, that's what they've come for, after all.
Oh, please don't bother. We're really not hungry at all.
Oh, but it's not a bit of bother at all. Ed!
Yes, Penny?
Ed, will you tell Donald to run down to the A&P and get half a dozen bottles of beer and some canned salmon? Oh, do you like canned salmon, Mr. Kirby?
You needn't bother, Miss Sycamore. I have a little indigestion anyway, so.
Oh, I'm so sorry. What about you, Mrs. Kirby? Do you like canned salmon?
Oh, I'm very fond of it.
Oh, well, you can have the frankfurters if you'd rather.
Either one will do.
Okay, then make that frankfurters, canned corn, and some Campbell soup. You got that, Ed?
Okay.
Oh, and do tell him to hurry. The A&P is just around the corner, and the frankfurters don't take any time to boil.
And this is Alice's father, Mr. Sycamore. Mr. and Mrs. Kirby.
How do you do?
I hope you'll forgive my appearance.
This is Mr. Sycamore's busiest time of the year, just before the 4th of July.
Darling, I'm the most dull-witted person in the world. I thought it was tonight.
Tony, I thought you... I'm so sorry. I can't imagine why I wasn't... you all met each other?
Yes, indeed.
How do you do, Alice?
How do you do, Mrs. Kirby? I'm afraid I'm not very presentable.
Darling, you look lovely.
Of course he does. Don't let this upset you, my dear. We've all just met each other a night sooner, that's all.
Of course.
I was planning such a nice party for tomorrow night.
Then we'll come again tomorrow night?
Here you are, Alice. Am I forgiven?
I guess so. It's just that let's see about getting you some dinner.
Oh, that's already been taken care of, Alice. Yes, that's all been attended to.
Mother, what did you send out for? Because Mr. Kirby suffers from indigestion. He can only eat certain things.
No, it's all right. It's all right.
Of course it is, darling.
I asked him what he wanted, but Mother...
It's not as serious as all that. Just because I have a little indigestion.
Perhaps it is not indigestion at all, Mr. Kirby. Perhaps you have stomach ulcers.
Don't be absurd, Mr. Kalinkov.
You mustn't mind Mr. Kalinkov. He's a Russian, and Russians are inclined to look on the dark side.
All right, I am a Russian, but a friend of mine, a Russian, died from stomach ulcers.
Really,
Please, Mr. Kalinkov. Mr. Kirby has indigestion, and that's all.
All right. Let him wait.
Do sit down, Mr. Kirby. Make yourself comfortable.
Thank you.
Oh,
How do you find business conditions? Do you think we're pretty well out of the depression?
Yes. Well, of course it all depends.
But do you figure things are going to keep on improving?
Well, broadly speaking, yes. As a matter of fact, industry is now operating at 64% full capacity as opposed to the 82% in 1925. Of course, in 1920...
There once was a lady from Wheeling who had a remarkable feeling. Woo!
she,
This must seem strange to you people, but she's not quite accountable for her actions. She came over to dinner and was overcome by the heat.
Oh, yes. You know, some people feel it more than others. Perhaps I'd better see if she's all right. Will you excuse me?
It is awfully hot. You usually escape all this hot weather up in Maine, don't you, Mrs. Kirby?
Well, as a rule. I had to come down this week, however, for the flower show.
Mother wouldn't miss it for the world. That blue ribbon is the high spot every year.
I went ribbon at a flower show once for raising onions. Remember, Alice?
That was a garden show.
Oh, yes. Oh, I think she'll be all right now. Has Donald come back yet?
No, he hasn't.
Well, I'm sure he'll be back anytime at all now. I'm afraid you must be starved.
No, that's all right. What's this? I didn't know there were little children around the house.
Oh no, that's mine.
Really? Well, I suppose every man has his hobby. Or do you use this as a model of some kind?
Oh no, I just play with it.
I see. Haha, maybe you'd be better off if you had a hobby like that, Dad, instead of raising orchids. Yes, I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, do tell us about your orchids, Mr. Kirby. You know, they take 6 years before they blossom, don't they? Think of that.
Oh, some take longer than that. I've got one coming along now that I've been waiting 10 years for.
Oh, believe it or not, I was once waiting for an orchid.
Yes. Although, at that time they required the most scrupulous care. I remember one bulb I was very fond of.
Oh, here we are. Did you get everything, Donald?
Yes, ma'am. Only they didn't have any frankfurters, so I got pickled pig's feet.
Never mind, Donald. Just bring everything into the kitchen. And Mr. Kirby, do tell everyone about your orchids. I know they'd love to hear it. And excuse me.
Raising orchids is an expensive hobby, isn't it, Mr. Kirby?
Yes, it is. Although, I feel as if a hobby gives one sufficient pleasure, it is never expensive.
That's very true.
You see, I need something to relieve the daily nerve strain. After a week on Wall Street, I'd go crazy if I didn't have something like that. A lot of men I know have yachts for that very reason.
Why don't they give up Wall Street?
How's that?
I was just joking.
Well, I think it's necessary for everyone to have a hobby. Of course, to me, it's more than that, but my great solace is spiritualism.
Oh, now, Mrs. Kirby. Everyone knows that's a faith.
To me, Mrs. Sycamore, spiritualism is both. But I'd rather not discuss it, Mrs. Sycamore.
Remember, Benny, you do have 1 or 2 hobbies of your own.
Yes, but not silly ones.
I don't think it matters what the hobby is. The important thing is to have one.
To be ideal, a hobby should improve the body as well as the mind. The Romans were a great people. Why? What was their hobby? Wrestling. In wrestling, you have to think quick with the mind and act quick with the body.
Yes, but I'm afraid some of us aren't cut out for wrestling. I wouldn't make a great showing of a wrestler.
You could be a great wrestler. You are built for it. Look.
Mr. Kirby, are you hurt?
You're right, Father. Well, where are my glasses?
Oh, here they are, Mr. Kirby. Oh, Mr. Kirby, they're broken.
Oh, I am sorry. But when you wrestle again, Mr. Kirby, you will of course not wear glasses.
Intend to wrestle again, Mr. Kalinkoff. Better sit down, Father.
Mr. Kalinkov, how could you do such a thing? Why did somebody stop him?
I think, perhaps, if you don't mind, we'd better get going.
Mother!
Kirby, please. Oh, Mr. Kirby, please don't go. I've ordered some scrambled eggs for you and plain salad. Oh, please don't go.
am sorry if I did something wrong. And I apologize.
I can't tell you how sorry I am, Mr. Kirby. If I'd been here.
No, it's all right. Of course it is. It's all right, Alice. You're not going.
Well, that was exciting for a moment, wasn't it?
You were telling us about your orchids, Mr. Kirby.
I'm afraid I've forgotten about my orchids.
I'm awfully sorry, Mr. Kirby.
What did I do that was so terrible? I threw him on the floor. Did it kill him?
Please, Mr. Klinkoff.
I'm sure dinner won't be any time at all now. Oh, would you like a piece of candy while you're reading, Mr. Kirby? They're freshly made.
My doctor does not permit me to eat candy. Thank you.
But these are nothing, Mr. Kirby. Just coconut and marshmallow and what?
Essie, please.
Well, Alice! Will you excuse me? What is it, Reba? That eggs fell down the sink. I'm making some more. There aren't any. So don't it up for some. All right. Tell her to hurry.
I'm so sorry. There'll be just a little delay, but everything will be ready in just a minute. Whoosh!
I've certainly put you people up to a lot of stupidity with my stupidity.
Not at all, Tony.
Well, why don't we play some sort of game while we're waiting?
Well, that'd be fine.
Mother, I don't think Mr. and Mrs. Kirby.
I have an idea. I know a wonderful trick with a glass of water.
No, Mr. Klinkoff.
I'm sure the Kirbys will love this game. It's perfectly harmless. Mother.
I'm not very good at games, Miss Sycamore.
Oh, but any fool can play this game, Mr. Kirby. All you do is write your name on a piece of paper.
Mother, Mr. Kirby doesn't want
You love it. There you are, Mr. Kirby. Write your name on a piece of paper, and Mrs. Kirby will do the same on this one.
Mother, what is this game?
Oh, I used to play it all the time at school. It's called Forget-Me-Not. Here you are, Grandpa. Now, I'm going to call out 5 words, just anything at all. And as I say each word, you're going to put down the first thing that comes into your mind. Is that clear? For instance, if I say grass, you might put down green. Or if I say table, you might put down chair. Is that clear? It just shows the reaction people have to different things. See how simple it is, Mr. Kirby?
Come on, Father. Be a sport. Very well. I shall be happy to play this game.
You see, he does want to play. But Mother. Now then, are we ready?
Ready!
Oh, and remember, we must play fair. Just put down the first thing that comes into your mind.
I understand.
Everyone ready? The first word is potatoes. Potatoes. Ready for the next word? Bathroom. Mother. Bathroom. Got that?
Go ahead.
All ready? Lust.
Mother, this is not exactly what you...
Nonsense, Alice. That word's all right.
But Mother, it's not all right?
Oh, I don't know, dear. It seems to me that's a perfectly fair word.
Add that last word again.
Lust.
Got it.
This is some game.
Oh, Grandpa. The next word is honeymoon. Now, Essie. Ready for the next word? All right. The next word is sex. Mother! Everyone have sex? Okay. Now give me your papers. May I have your paper, Mr. Kirby?
What happens next?
Oh, this is the best part. Now I read your reactions.
I see. This really is the most interesting game.
Oh,
I knew you'd like it, Mr. Kirby. How about I read your paper first? Everyone ready? This is Mr. Kirby. Potatoes, steak. Oh, that's very good, Mr. Kirby. You see how they go together? Steak and potatoes?
I just happened to think of it.
Well, it is very good. Bathroom, toothpaste. Yes. Lust, unlawful. Isn't that nice? Honeymoon, trip. Yes, and, oh dear. Sex, male. Oh, yes, of course, you are. That's really a wonderful paper, Mr. Kirby.
Thank you. It's more than just a game, you know. It's sort of an experiment on psychology, don't you think?
Oh, yes, it shows just how your mind works. Now let's see how Mrs. Kirby's mind works.
Oh, no, really.
Everyone ready? This is Mrs. Kirby. Potatoes, starch. I know just what you mean, Mrs. Kirby.
That's quite enough. If you
Oh.
can stop right there, it's just...
Bathroom, Mr. Kirby.
What's that?
Bathroom, Mr. Kirby.
I don't quite follow, my dear.
Oh, I don't know. I just thought of you in connection with it, that's all. I mean, you are in there a good deal. Bathing and shaving, well, you do take a while.
Indeed. I hadn't noticed I was being selfish in the matter.
This is the most pointless game and we ought to stop it.
Yes.
No. Would you go on, Miss Sycamore?
Oh, yes, of course. Where was I? Lust, human.
Human? Really?
I just meant that lust is, after all, a human emotion.
I do not agree with you, Miriam. Lust is not a human emotion, it is depraved.
Very well, Anthony, I'm wrong.
Really, it's the most pointless game. Suppose we play 20 questions.
Yes.
No. I find this game rather interesting. Would you go on, Miss Sycamore? What was the next word?
Honeymoon,
And what was Mrs. Kirby's response?
honeymoon, dull.
Did you just say dull?
Oh, I don't know what I meant. It's just that Hot Springs wasn't very gay that season. What with all the old people sitting on the porches all afternoon and nothing to do at night.
That was not your reaction at the time, as I recall it.
Father, this is only a game.
A very illuminating game. Do go on.
Well, this one's all right, Mr. Kirby. Sex, Wall Street.
Wall Street? What do you mean by that, Marion?
Oh, I don't know. Nothing.
Well, you must have meant something, or else you wouldn't have put it down.
It's just the first thing that popped into my mind. That's all.
But what does it mean? Sex? Wall Street?
Oh, I don't know, Anthony. It's just that you're always talking about Wall Street, even when we're... I don't know what I meant. Alice, would you mind terribly if we didn't stay for dinner? I'm afraid this game has given me quite the headache.
I understand, Mrs. Kirby.
Yes. Possibly we'd better postpone the dinner if you don't mind.
Oh, but you are coming tomorrow night, aren't you?
I'm afraid we have an engagement tomorrow night.
Perhaps we'd better postpone the whole affair a little while. What if the hot weather...
I think we're being very ungracious, Father. Of course we're staying for dinner. Tonight.
I have a very bad headache, Tony.
I'm sure everyone understands.
Well, I don't. I think we ought to stay.
Don't, Tony.
What?
You were fools, Tony. Ever think it would work? It won't. I won't be at the office tomorrow, Mr. Kirby. I won't be there at all anymore.
Alice, what are you talking about?
I'm very sorry, my dear. Very sorry. Are you ready, Miriam?
Yes, Anthony.
Darling, you mustn't mind this.
It was very nice to have met you all.
Yes, lovely.
Are you coming, Tony?
No, Father, I'm not.
Very well. Your mother and I will See you at home. Good night.
Good night.
Stay wherever you are! Everyone! Don't move!
Oh, good heavens!
What is the meaning of this?
Keep your mouth shut, you. Which one is he?
This is him.
What do you mean?
This is an outrage.
Shut up. What's your name?
Edward! Carmichael! I haven't done anything!
You haven't, huh?
This seems rather high-handed to me, officer. What's it all about?
Department of Justice.
Oh my goodness. J-Man! Ed, what have you done?
I haven't done anything!
What's the boy done, officer?
What is it? What's it all about?
That door leads to the cellar?
Yes, it does.
Yes?
Matt. Jim, take a look upstairs and see what you can find.
I haven't done anything!
Come here. Ever seen these before?
They're my... circulars?
You print this stuff, huh?
Yes, sir?
And you put them into boxes of candy and get them into people's homes?
The love dreams.
Well, yes, but I didn't mean anything. It's...
You didn't, huh? Dynamite the Capitol. Dynamite the White House. Dynamite the Supreme Court. God is the state. The state is God.
Well, yes, but I didn't mean anything. I just like to print. Don't I, Grandpa?
Now look here, officer. The government's not in any danger from Ed. He just likes to print, that's all. He prints anything.
He does, huh?
I've never heard of such nonsense.
I refuse to stay here.
Everybody get my point!
Shut up, you. You were right, Chief. They've got enough gunpowder down there to blow the whole city.
But we only use that to make fireworks!
Keep still! Everybody in this house is under arrest.
This is nonsense.
You better let me get my pipe, I locked it down!
Shut up, all of you!
It seems to me...
Shut up!
There, down you. Stop that from. Stop it.
Who is that?
That is my mother.
See fireworks! Let's see fireworks! It's already reloaded! It's already!
For appearance in the West Side Court this morning, after spending the night in jail, the defendants, 13 in all, were brought before Judge Callahan and given suspended sentences for manufacturing fireworks without a permit.
Yeah. Catch me in the same cell with the strip teaser from the burlesque show.
Kept me in the same cell as Mr. Kirby. My, was he mad.
Miss Kirby and the strip teaser. They were fighting all night.
Whole lot about Mr. Kirby right here. Anthony W. Kirby, head of Kirby & Co., 62 Wall Street, who was among those apprehended last night, declared that he was in no way interested in the manufacture of fireworks, but could not explain why he was on the premises at the time of the raid. Mr. Kirby is a member of the Union Club, the Harvard Club, the Racket Club, and the National Geographic Society. My, is he a joiner?
All them rich men are elks or something.
I suppose, after all this, Tony is never going to marry Alice, is he?
No, it's too bad too. Alice sure loves that boy. I don't know what I'm gonna do with all that food out in the kitchen. Not gonna be a party, that's for sure.
Well, we're still going to eat it, aren't we?
Well, I'm cooking it, but I'm not sure anyone's gonna have an appetite.
I'm hungry.
Well, not them. They're all so broke up about Alice.
Why does she want to go away? Where's she going anyways?
I don't know. Mountain someplace. And she's going all right, no matter what they say. I know Alice when she gets that look in her eye.
It's a real shame, isn't it?
Sure is.
Not even a balloon left. Look.
How's your hand, Mr. DePenna?
Is there any olive oil left?
It's in the salad bowl.
Thanks.
Well, she's going. Nothing anyone could say to change her mind.
She ain't gonna stay away long, is she, Miss Sycamore?
I don't know, Reba. She won't say.
My, sure gonna be lonesome around here without her.
How do you feel, Miss Sycamore?
Oh, I'm all right, Donald. Just kind of upset. Maybe if I do some work, I'll feel better.
I won't bother you then.
She's going, Penny.
Yes.
Now, Penny.
I can't help it, Paul. Somehow I feel it's all our fault.
It's mine more than yours, Penny. All these years I've just been going along, enjoying myself, and perhaps I should have been thinking more about Alice.
Oh, but Paul, you've been such a wonderful father and husband too.
No, I haven't. Maybe if I'd gone ahead and been an architect, I don't know, something Alice could have been proud of. I thought that all last night looking at Mr. Kirby.
But we've been so happy, Paul.
I know, but maybe that's not enough. I used to think that it was, but I'm kind of all mixed up now.
What time is she leaving?
Pretty soon. Train leaves at 7:30.
Oh, only if she'd see Tony, maybe he could persuade her.
She won't, Penny. He's been trying all day.
Where is he now?
I don't know, I suppose walking around the block again. Anyhow, she won't talk to him.
Well, maybe if he catches her as she's leaving?
It won't help, Penny.
No, I suppose not. Oh, I feel so sorry for Tony, too. Well, Grandpa?
Now, Penny, leave the girl alone.
Oh, but Grandpa...
Suppose she goes to the Adirondacks. She'll be back. There's only so much of the Adirondacks you can take before you come back home.
Oh, but it's all so terrible, Grandpa.
Oh, yes, but there is a bright side, too.
How do you mean?
Well, Mr. Kirby getting into the patrol wagon, for one thing. And the look on his face when he had to take a bath with Donald. I'll never forget that if I live to be 100. I warn you, I intend to. If I can have things like that going on.
Oh, well, it was even worse with Mrs. Kirby. When the matron stripped her, there was a burlesque dancer there, and she kept singing a strip song as Mrs. Kirby undressed.
I'll bet Bar Harbor is going to seem pretty dull to the Kirbys this summer. Need any help, Alice?
No thanks, Grandpa. I'm just going to Presley's.
Oh, Alice, dear.
Now, Penny.
I'll bring the other bag down as soon as you're ready, Alice.
Thanks, Ed.
Do you want to take a piece of candy along for the train, Alice?
No thanks, Essie.
Really, Alice? You could be just as alone here as you could up in the mountains. You could just stay in your room all day.
No, Mother. I want to be by myself, away from everybody. I love you all. I know that, but I have to go away for a while. It'll be all right. Father, did you phone for a cab?
No, I didn't know you wanted one.
Oh, well, I told Mr. DePenny to tell you, Paul. Didn't he tell you?
Oh, he told me. Oh, but I forgot.
Oh, I wish I lived in a family that didn't always forget everything. That behaves the way other people do. I'm sick of cornflakes and Donald and everything. Why can't we be like other people? Roast beef and 2 green vegetables and lace doilies on the table and a place you can bring your friends to without... Ah! I'll see if I can do anything.
Oh, Tony, go talk to her. She's in the kitchen.
Thanks. Alice, will you listen to me, please?
Tony, it's no use.
Alice, you're not being fair. Please let me talk to you.
Where'd you go?
Upstairs.
right out of my hand. I'm gonna smell kind of fishy now.
How are you feeling, Mr. DePena? Hand still hurting you?
No, it's better. Everything burnt up, huh? Downstairs? Yes, everything. And my Roman costume, too.
Oh, I told you there was a bright side to all of this. All except my 23 years back income tax. Get another letter every day.
Say, what are you gonna do about that, Grandpa?
No, I had an idea yesterday. It may not work, but I'm going to try it anyhow.
Really? What is it?
Good evening, everybody.
Oh, hello, Klinkov.
Forgive me, the door was open.
Come right in.
You will excuse my coming today. I realize you are upset.
It's all right, Mr. Kalinka. I don't think I can take a lesson today, Mr. Kalinka. I don't feel up to it.
Well,
Oh, but do stay for dinner. We've got all that food out in the kitchen and, well, someone's got to eat it.
I will be happy to, Madam Sycamore.
Fine.
Thank you. Now I wonder if I know you well enough to ask of you a great favor.
Of course, Mr. Kalinka. What is it?
You have heard me talk about my friend, the Grand Duchess Olga Katrina.
Yes?
She is a great woman, the Grand Duchess. Her cousin was the Tsar of Russia, and today she is a waitress in Child's Restaurant, Times Square.
Oh, of course. Well, if there's anything we can do, Mr. Kalinka.
I tell you, the Grand Duchess Olga Katrina has not had a good meal since before the revolution.
She must be hungry then.
And today the Grand Duchess not only has her day off, Thursday, but it is also the anniversary of Peter the Great, a remarkable man.
Why? Oh, Mr. Kalinka, if you mean you'd like the Grand Duchess to stay for dinner, why, oh, we'd be honored. Oh, yes!
In the name of the Grand Duchess, I thank you.
Oh, I can hardly wait to meet her. Oh, where is she now?
She is outside in the street, waiting. I bring her in.
Ed, straighten your tie. And Essie, your dress. How do I look? All right?
If this keeps up, I want to live to be 150.
The Grand Duchess Olga Katrina. Your Highness, permit me to present Madame Sycamore, Madame Carmichael, Grandpa, Mr. Carmichael, Mr. Sycamore, and Mr. D. Pina.
All right now, Mr. DePena. You go.
Oh, do have a seat, Your Highness.
Thank you. You are the most kind.
Oh, we are so happy to receive you, Your Highness.
I am most happy to be here. How soon is dinner?
Oh, very soon, Your Highness. Yes, very soon.
I do not mean to be rude, but I must be back at the restaurant by 8 o'clock. I am substituting for another waitress.
I will make sure you're on time, Your Highness.
Thank you, Kolenkov.
Say, Grand Duchess, I think you waited on me in a child's restaurant once. 72nd Street, right?
No, that was my sister.
The Grand Duchess Natasha.
I work in Times Square.
Oh!
There are quite a lot of you folks living over here, aren't there?
Oh, yes, many. My uncle, the Grand Duke Sergei, he is an elevator man at Macy's. A very nice man. Then there is my cousin, Prince Alexis. He will not speak to the rest of us because he works at Artie Carnegie. He's in ladies' underwear.
When he was selling hot dogs at Coney Island, he was willing to talk to you.
Kolinkov, our time is coming. My sister, Natasha, is studying to be a manicurist. Uncle Sergey has promised to make floor walker, and then I get transferred to the Fifth Avenue Childs. From there, it is only a step to Strauss. And then we will see what Prince Alexis says.
I think you've got him.
You are telling me.
Whoa, whoa,
Oh, Your Highness, did you know the Tsar? Personally, I mean?
Oh, yes. He was my cousin. It is terrible what happened to him, but perhaps it is for the best. Where could he get a job now?
Pravda, pravda, that is true.
And poor relations are poor relations. It is the same in every family. My cousin, the King of Sweden, he was very nice to us for about 10 years. Every once in a while, he would send us a money order. But then he said, I just cannot go on. I am not doing so well myself. I do not blame him.
Oh, of course not. Will you excuse me?
Say, Your Highness, is it true what they say about Rasputin?
Everyone wants to know about Rasputin. Yes, my dear sir, it is true. And how?
You don't say.
Your Highness, we have to watch the time.
Yes, I must not be late. The manager does not like me. He is a communist.
Oh, of course. Well, I'll get right on it. Essie, will you go out in the kitchen and see if you can help Reba?
I will help you. I am a very good cook.
Oh, but Your Highness, not on your day off.
I do not mind. Where is the kitchen?
Right through here, but you're the guest of honor, Your Highness.
But I love to cook. Come, Kolenko. If they have got pot cheese and sour cream, I will make you some blintzes.
Ah, blintzes! Come, Pavlova, we show you something.
Say, the Grand Duchess is all right, isn't she? Wait up, I want to help.
She's got a wonderful face for a mask, hasn't she?
Oh, yes. She really is a lovely woman, considering she's a Grand Duchess and all.
Wonderful what some people go through. And still keep kind of gay, too.
Yes. She made me forget about everything for a moment.
Better call that cab, I suppose.
Oh, no, wait, Paul. Maybe Tony has... Oh, here they are.
Ed, will you bring my bag?
Don't you do it, Ed.
Ed, please.
All right, Ed, bring it down. You know you've got the stubbornest daughter in all 48 states.
That must be the cab.
If it is, it certainly is wonderful service. Is Tony here?
Why, yes. Yes, he is. Come in, Mr. Kirby.
Oh, how do you do? Good evening.
Good evening.
Pardon my intruding. Tony, I want you to come home with me. Your mother is very upset.
Very well, Father. Bye, Alice.
Bye, Tony.
I need hardly say that this is as painful as it is to Mrs. Kirby and myself, as it is to you people. I'm sorry, but I'm sure you understand.
In a way, yes. And in a way, no. Well, now, I'm not the kind of person that tries to run other people's lives. But the fact is, Mr. Kirby, these two young people haven't got as much sense as, you and I.
Grandpa, will you please not do this?
I'm just talking to Mr. Kirby. A cat can look at a king, can't he?
Oh, but you want me to do that for you, Alice?
No, Mother.
There's still quite a while before the train leaves, Alice.
Yes, hello. Will you send a cab to 761 Claremont, please? Right away? Thank you.
Tony.
Mr. Kirby, I suppose after last night, you must think this family is kind of crazy.
No, I wouldn't say that. Although I'm not accustomed to going out to dinner and spending the night in jail.
Oh, well, you've got to remember, Mr. Kirby, you came on the wrong day. Now tonight, I promise you, nothing will happen at all. Maybe.
Mr. Vanderhoff, it was not merely last night that convinced Mrs. Kirby and myself that this engagement would be unlawful.
Father, I can handle my own affairs. Alice, the last time will you marry me?
No, Tony. I know exactly what your father means, and he's right.
No. No, he's not, Alice.
Alice, you're in love with this boy, and you're not marrying him, because we're the kind of people we are.
Grandpa.
Now, I know you think the two families wouldn't get along. Maybe you're right. But who says they're right and we're wrong?
I didn't say that, Grandpa. I only feel...
Well, what I feel is that Tony's too nice a boy to wake up 20 years from now with nothing in his life but stocks and bonds.
How's that?
Yes. Mixed up and unhappy. The way you are.
I beg your pardon, Mr. Vanderhoff. I am a very happy man.
Are you?
Certainly I am.
I don't think so. Where do you think you get your indigestion from? Happiness? No. You get it because you spend most of your time in doing things you don't want to do.
I don't do anything I don't want to do.
No, last night you told me at the end of a week at Wall Street you're pretty near crazy. Why do you keep on doing it?
Why do I keep on? That's my business. A man can't give up his business.
Why not? You've got all the money you need. You can't take it with you.
Now, that's a very easy thing to say, Mr. Vanderhoff, but I've spent my entire life building up my business.
And what's it got you? Same kind of mail every morning, same kind of meetings, same kind of deals, same kind of dinners at night, same indigestion. Where does the fun come in? You must have thought that there was something more when you started out, Mr. Kirby. We haven't got too much time, you know, any of us.
What do you expect me to do? Live the way you do? Do nothing?
Well, I have a lot of fun. Time enough for everything. Time to read, talk, practice my darts, go to the zoo, even have time to notice when spring comes around. Don't talk to anybody I don't want to. Don't have 6 hours of things I have to do before I get 1 hour to do what I want in. And I haven't taken bicarbonate of soda in 35 years. What's the matter with that?
The matter with that? Suppose we all did it. A fine world we'd have, everyone going to zoos. Don't be ridiculous, Mr. Vanderhoff. Who would do the work?
There's always people to do the work. Because they like it. Inventions, they fly the ocean. You can't stop them. There's always people to go to Wall Street too. Because they want to. But I don't think you're one of them, Mr. Kirby. I think you're missing something.
I was not aware of missing anything.
I wasn't either, till I quit. I used to wake up 9 o'clock every morning to get down to that office, no matter how I felt. I used to lay awake for fear I wouldn't get that contract. I used to worry about the world, too. Got all worked up about whether Cleveland or Blaine was going to be president. Seemed awful important at the time, but who cares now? What I'm trying to say, Mr. Kirby, is that I've had 35 years that no one can take away from me, no matter what they do to the world. See?
Yes, I do see. And it's a very dangerous philosophy, Mr. Vanderhoff. It's un-American, and it's exactly why I'm opposed to this marriage. I don't want Tony to fall under its influence.
What's the matter with it, Father?
The matter with it? Why, it's downright communism. That's what it is.
I didn't always think so.
I most certainly did. What are you talking about?
I'll tell you what I'm talking about. You didn't always think so because there was a time when you wanted to be a trapeze artist.
Don't be an idiot, Tony.
And yes, you certainly did. I came across those letters you wrote to Grandpa. Do you remember those?
How dare you read those letters? How dare you?
Oh, that's wonderful, Mr. Kirby. Did you wear tights?
I most certainly did not. This whole thing is ridiculous. I was 14 years old at the time.
Yes. But at 18, you wanted to be a saxophone player, didn't you?
Tony!
And at 21, you ran away from home because grandfather wanted you to go into the business. It's all there in black and white. You didn't always think so.
Well, well, well.
I may have had silly notions in my youth, but thank goodness my father knocked them out. I went into the business and forgot about it.
Not altogether, Father. There's still a saxophone in the back of your clothes closet.
There is.
Tony, let's discuss this later.
No. I want to talk about it now. I think Mr. Vanderhoff is right. Dead right. I'm never going back to that office. I've always hated it there, and I'm not going on with it. And I'll tell you another thing. I did make a mistake last night. I knew it was the wrong night, and I brought you here on purpose.
Tony!
Oh, for heavens!
Because I wanted you to wake up. I wanted you to see a real family, as they really were. You don't understand me. They love and they understand each other. You've never had the time to understand me. I'm not going to make your mistake. I'm clearing out.
But clearing out, what do you mean?
I mean that I'm not going to be pushed into the business just because I'm your son. I'm getting out while there's still time.
What are you going to do?
I don't know. Maybe I'll be a bricklayer or something. But at least I'll be doing what I want to do.
That must be the cab.
Tell them to wait a minute, Ed.
Grandpa!
Oh, please, Alice. Mr. Kirby, Tony is going through just what you and I did when we were his age. We all did it. And we were all right. How many of us would be willing to settle when we're young for what we would eventually get? All those plans we make? What happens to them? It's only a handful of the lucky few. I can say they even came close. So before they clean out that closet, Mr. Kirby, I would get in a good few hours on that saxophone.
I beg your pardon, but before I make sibilances, how many will there be to dinner?
Oh, Your Highness, may I present to you Mr. Anthony Kirby and Mr. Kirby Jr., the Grand Duchess Olga Katrina.
How's that?
I beg your pardon, how do you do? I beg your pardon, but before I make sibilances, how many will there be to dinner?
Oh, I'd make quite a stack. Can't ever tell.
Good. The Tsar always said to me, Olga, do not be stingy with sibilances.
Who did you say that was, Mr. Vanderhoff?
Oh, the Grand Duchess Olga Katrina. She's making the dinner.
Oh,
And speaking of dinner, Mr. Kirby, why don't you and Tony both stay?
Oh, yes. Do stay for dinner, Mr. Kirby. We've got all that food that we were going to eat last night. Well, I mean, tonight.
Looks like it'll be quite a nice dinner, Mr. Kirby. And it'll give us a chance to get acquainted.
What do you say, Father? Are we staying for dinner?
why, if you care to, Tony, I'd like to. Very much.
Now, Alice will send away that cab, Mr. Vanderhoff.
How about it, Alice? Looks like it's going to be a nice crowd. Don't you think you ought to stay?
The families ought to get to know each other, don't you think?
Mr. Kirby, Tony, oh, Tony.
Darling.
Grandpa,
You're wonderful.
I've been telling you that for years.
Oh, here's a letter for you, Grandpa. It was in the icebox.
Oh, let me see. Oh, government again.
How do you do, Mr. Kirby?
How do you do?
Won't you step into my office, Miss Sycamore? I'd like to do some dictating.
I'd better tell that cab.
Well, well, well.
What is it, Grandpa?
Oh, the government apologizes. I don't owe him a nickel. Seems I died 8 years ago.
What do you mean, Grandpa?
Remember Charlie, the milkman, buried under my name? Well, I told the government that they made a mistake, and I was Martin Vanderhoff Jr. So they're very sorry, and I might even get a refund.
Why, Grandpa, you're an old crook.
Sure.
Excuse me, but how did you say you escaped the income tax, Mr. Vanderhoff?
Tonight, my friends, you are going to eat.
Lola,
How do you do?
fine, fine. Great to see you.
What has happened?
He's relaxing. Ed, play something.
Russia is our beloved land. Russia is our sacred state. The powerful strength and the great glory of our countries for all the time.
Oh, you hear that, everyone? Dinner's ready. Oh, come on, Mr. Kirby. Dinner's ready.
Yeah.
Essie, stop dancing and come to dinner.
You will like Russian food, Mr. Kirby.
Oh, but you must be careful of your indigestion.
Nonsense. I haven't any indigestion.
Well, Miss Sycamore, how was your trip to the Adirondacks?
Shut your face, Mr. Kirby.
In Russia, when they sit down to dinner, they do not talk like that.
Oh, very
Quiet, everyone. Well, sir, here we are again. We'd like to thank you again for all you've done for us. Everything seems to be going along fine. Alice is going to marry Tony, and it seems as if they're going to be very happy. Now, of course, the fireworks blew up, but that was Mr. DePinna's fault, not yours. We've all got our health, and as far as anything else is concerned, we'll leave it up to you. Thank you.
Grandpa, I have heard from my friend in Siberia. He has escaped again.
I'm gonna dance for you.
Very good name, too. I don't think we should use it. I don't think so either. Maybe you guys should leave. Why not? You've got all the money you need. You can't take it with you.